So this is my friend Shaft. He's originally from London and now a world traveler. He's a tantric healer and guru and coach and teacher and speaker, and he speaks all over the world and helps people release trauma and stuck energy. And he's been here all week with me, and we went through his 4-day workshop thing, which has been transformative. And so yeah, he offered to do this class for us, and we all thought it would be a really great idea. So good life skill that one must have. So thank you so much, Shaft, for being here and for sharing your gifts with us.
So thank you for the lovely intro. Yes, my name's Shaft, and what a interesting name I have, and what a great job I do. I actually don't teach this anymore, so I have my own journey with my dick, and it's only recently this year when I was in Dubai that I discovered how much my penis and what happened to it when I was 4 years old had affected the whole of my life. And I was at a Mind Valley event. There's a guy called Vishen Lakiani. He has these like inner circle gatherings, and we're in Dubai, and he handpicks all the most influential people in the country, wherever he's in. And I was one of them, which is completely random. And I love the fact that I was invited to it. And there's a guy called Peter Kell there as well. And he's the guy that creates all of the music, all the adverts for Mind Valley. He was narrating my story to a table full of super powerful women, like the housewives of Dubai and all these famous people. And he told my story from an outsider looking in. And I had a realization that I really didn't know how much my penis affected my life. So when I was 4 years old, I had strangers come into my house, and one by one, each boy was taken up to the upstairs room, and I heard these screams, and then I went up, and I remember this very vividly, that I had to take down my trousers in front of like these random people. Then they pinned me down, and they cut off the top of my penis. It was horrific. And from that moment on, I couldn't get naked in public anymore. And I said to myself, I will wait until I fall in love, and then I'll lose my virginity then. So I was 19 when that happened. The first time I masturbated was when I was 24. So I was a late starter, and I knew nothing about my dick. Like I hid it. I didn't even know what a wet dream was. I would just wake up during my teenage years, just like I thought I pissed myself. I was like, oh, guys, it's super weird. It's like, doesn't feel like piss. And no one told me what it is. Like there isn't the internet back then. The only time you'd see a naked woman would be in these random magazines down by the old railway station. Like, what were they doing down there in the first place? I have no idea. But we didn't really have much information back in like the 80s and 90s. And when my friend was like telling this story to these influential people, to everybody, it hit me. Because of that moment, I was so ashamed of my lingam. The word lingam is the older Sanskrit word for penis, which is translated to shaft of light. I didn't know that I was drinking and taking drugs because I was so ashamed of my dick. So I had to turn the lights off so no one could see me naked or my dick. I didn't know that I was heavily addicted to drink and drugs because I was so afraid of the rejection I would get from women if they saw me in the daylight. So I had a coping mechanism, addiction to drink and drugs. But also, I would only date my friends. So I was very weird back in the days. No one was like, why would you date your friends? You should never date your friends. I'm like, and I didn't know why I dated my friends either. I just thought it was easier to be with my friends. It turns out with my friends, I felt trust and safety. They can't reject me because of the disfigurement and the gentle mutilation that I suffered. And he, the guy, Peter Kell, told this story in just 1 minute. And he said it so well that I wish I could do it. And this is why he makes millions selling stories. The moment I overcame this was when I got sober in 2014 and went to my first Tantra workshop. Now, we all had to, week 1, we didn't have to get naked. Week 2 is all the sexual exercises and all the sex magic rituals and all the anal de-armoring, lingam de-armoring, squirting and everything. It's like a lot deeper work. First week was just releasing trauma. And on the first day, we all had to get naked. There's 60 people in a circle and we all had to get naked. And I refused. Everyone was naked apart from me. And the guru said, Shaft, why aren't you naked? And I told him this story. I've had genital mutilation, I've got disfiguration, and I don't want to get naked. He said, look, come here. You never question the guru. So I walked over there. He said, okay, get your dick out. And I'm like, okay. And it's Sweden. It was cold. So I wish it was like, okay, but it's more like, okay. And he said, okay, go over to that woman and say what she thinks of your dick. And so I shuffled over with my dick in my hand and said, what do you think of my dick? And she said, you have a beautiful penis. And he said, okay, now ask the second person. It's a dude now. So I have to ask a dude, what do you think of my dick? I was like, what do you think of my dick? He said, you have a beautiful dick. I was like, oh, thank you very much. I don't like taking up a lot of space, believe it or not. I'm British. I have a thing called British politeness. I don't like to cause a fuss. And to take up this much space in a huge room full of 60 people, I had 57 other people to go around. He said, you have to go around every single person and you got to get them to you know, what do they think of your dick? So I was like, what do you think of my dick? 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 It's like a circle full of people. It was well, I did it. And then at the end of it, I went up to the guru, said, look, come over here. And then he got his dick out and he said, look, I've got exactly the same 3 disfigurations as you do. And he showed me his dick. And I was like, oh my God, we're dick twins. And we literally high-fived each other with our dicks. From that moment, I was fully healed of my body shame. And the side effect is kind of a cool side effect. This has happened twice now, and I'll tell you how it relates. The side effect was everybody wanted my penis inside of them after that moment. Because I accepted my dick, I mean, I was at peace with this whole horrific thing that happened to me when I was younger. I was able to finally love my body and not be ashamed of this creation that is my body. And people wanted my dick inside of them. And I was like, this is great. I'm getting more sex than I could ever imagine now, and I'm sober. When you give up drinking, that natural way to connect, it's just easy when you're drinking. Everyone's drunk, everyone wants a good time, and it's easy. If you take that away, there's no way of me saying hello to someone. Like, I'm nothing worse than being sober, horny, and just a man who doesn't get anyone approaching me. So it's very hard to even find love. Now, how does that relate to something in my previous life? I always was an ugly child. I wasn't very beautiful. I had really bad teeth. I was known as teethy. I was always scrawny little. I had people shouting at me on the streets. If I was hanging around with an attractive woman, they would shout, "Oi, you're punching above your weight, aren't you?" So I was always the ugly child. And I was very much, if it's a Hollywood rom-com, the geek trying to date the cheerleader. And they're getting fucked by the narcissist, or, you know, in the Hollywood films is the jock, who are also my friends. So I'm just there, you know, listening to them, hearing the shit that they're going through, whilst hoping they'll have sex with me, but they never did. And then one day, I believe I was 27, no, it must have been 30 something. A friend of mine and I was talking about trying to find love and like how I'll never be worthy of love, and women don't date me because I'm too short, and I'm just, not worthy of love from normal good-looking women. And she said something to me which was like, look, Shaft, you're on a six-figure salary, you bought two houses, you're really handsome, really beautiful. And I didn't see any of that because I was so focused on what I didn't have. I didn't have the hot blonde models that I really wanted, and I wouldn't get the level of beauty that I would desire. But she showed me who I was. And for the first time, I was like, oh, on paper, I'm an alpha male. I didn't know that because I never identified myself like that. And then when I had that shift of perception of myself, I was able to connect with, back in the days, they use a number scaling system of like hotness. So I was dating tens after that. All because I changed the story about myself. And it took someone outside of myself to tell me I'm beautiful. Now, how does it all relate to my dick? And how does it relate to these cucumbers? Well, a man's energy, his self-esteem, self-worth is strongly linked to his dick. And believe it or not, men, even though they send a lot of dick pics, I would never send it. I'm not even there to send a dick pic. Like, I sent one dick pic once because this woman forced me to send it to her, and I made sure it was full of blood, so it looks full, and I was on a waterfall. So it looked extravagant and lovely. That's the only dick pic I've ever sent in my life. But I do have an OnlyFans, The Shaft Show, so please do subscribe to my OnlyFans. There's a lot of educational content there. So, a man's dick, our emotions are on the outside. We never know what's going on with you women. You women are a mystery. We don't know if you orgasmed or not. We don't know if you've, we just don't know. And I work with a lot of women. They could be orgasming and having multiple orgasms, and they're just lying still. Or they could be arching their back and like making a high-pitched sounds, which according to my training, they're having peak sensations on the clitoris. Or if they're having deep, like more groaning sounds, it's more internal pleasure. But they haven't even reached a 4 on a level of 0 to orgasm. Or they're squirting and they haven't even had an orgasm. You'd think, according to porn, that they're having an orgasm because it's all linked, but it's not. Confusing. With men, we just have random boners when we yawn. You know when we like you. Like, it's when we can't lie about that. Physical connection. When you have a conscious cock and you know how powerful your lingam is, he will direct you to the greatest adventures on the planet. A lot of people are governed by not their cock. They think it's their cock, but it's not. A man's life is actually pretty easy. Now I've trained my penis to be a conscious, awake being. Like, he will find my lovers. He takes me around the world. And for 9 years since being sober, I've had the longest periods of peace in my life with girlfriends. Zero drama. All because I started to activate my penis on a conscious level. I noticed that women were getting all of these activations when they had yoni de-armoring, yoni mapping sessions, and learned how to become multi-orgasmic. And I was very jealous and I wanted what they had. And it turns out it's all the same process for men and women. There's actually more things you could do with a lingam than a yoni. And that's what I want to show you today. Now, I train women in this method, the shaft method, to help them help men overcome erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and help them get off porn addiction. So yes, there is dick ninja skills. Yes, you're going to be really good at certain techniques. But when you know how to utilize this tool to help men get it up when he can't get it up. If he's got premature ejaculation, helping him to get up, get off, to last longer. The average man, for 10 points, how long does he last in bed with a woman when he's having sex and he reaches an ejaculation? 3 minutes?
30. 30.
30 minutes. You are lucky. Good job. Yeah.
How long you space it out.
Nice. 5.
I was gonna say 10, but
Now I'm curious. On average, how long does it last? Let's say you collect all the data of all the men you've slept with, and what's the average time that you have sex with a man until he ejaculates?
So my last partner, we would go for hours and hours, so he doesn't count. But anybody else, I would say 10 minutes.
10 minutes. That's pretty good going.
I think it's like 5. I think the average is like 5 to 7 or something. 3 to 5. I don't know.
I'd say 10.
It's pretty low. Actually.
It's 3.5 minutes statistically. And how long does it take for a woman to reach an orgasm?
7 to 12. 7 to 10.
Closer.
15.
It takes 11. According to the study that I was trained on, I believe it's a little bit longer for everybody now, which is a good thing. But as a man, when you're going at it like a jackhammer for 3.5 minutes and you don't do any cardio and you don't go to the gym, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work doing one thing over and over again. Bum, 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 bum. So this technique that I'm going to teach you actually takes him out of the performance that he has to have a rock hard penis all the time. Different types of strokes bring different types of sensations. He gets out of visual stimulation, like all your women are super hot, so he's going to get off on your boobs. It's actually for him to go inwards and feel. And you create a container where he actually has permission to receive. Now, I'm a man, and if someone's given to me, I feel guilty. Like, I feel like I should be doing something. And then I want to fuck them. But when you take that goal away and you create a safe container for them to actually relax and receive, you get to see a man in a state that you might not have seen him, which is a state of vulnerability and relaxation, rather than him hungry for your vagina wanting to have sex. So these spaces is a beautiful place for him to not be goal orientated. You're holding space for his process. There's no performance. And maybe it might be the first time where a woman has allowed him to surrender without giving anything in return. Maybe. So surrender is not a passive place to be. He has all the power. It's up to him how hard, fast, and slow he wants it. And if he wants it hard, fast, like the game's going to be over pretty quick. It's almost, I was talking to you about ecstatic dance. There's a curve that we want to play with. So we want to start off slow and like bring it up and then bring it up and bring it up and bring it down and bring it up and then bring it down again. And in this process, he doesn't want to tense up or shallow breathe. So I'm a dude and I wasn't tantric. 9 years ago, it's all about tense, shallow breathing, and explosion at the end. Fast and quick because I got other things to do. And fast and quick whilst having sex as well. I mean, luckily I was an alcoholic and a drug addict, so I lasted in bed for hours and hours. So I didn't have that problem at all. I also had no sensitivity on my dick because someone, when I was younger, cut it off. But with this method, I got all my sensitivity back. So that was amazing. So this method, does actually hold the cure for erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and porn addiction for all men. I got off porn through this method, sensation-based practice. So I would just, by not looking at porn, I would just squeeze my penis and all of a sudden it'd go hard. And then I had lots of lovers who were all dick wizards as well. And if we're in the back of a cab, they'll put their hands in my trousers and they'll just squeeze. And I'll have a raging hard erection. It's great. Without friction, oil, porn, anything. It's just like sensation-based practice. When I'm helping men with porn addiction, we get them to get off the screen, drop out of their heads, because now they're visualizing if they're not looking at that, because they're trained their animal body and their mind to get off at looking at something. So they have to close their eyes and not imagine their ex-girlfriend or their current girlfriend or their favorite porn star, and just come into sensation. And that comes in the form of a very simple tantric tool called conscious touch. And we're all going to do this together. And this element of conscious touch is the foundation of bringing awareness to wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. Wherever you put your intention, that will expand. And this could be scaled to any part of your life. From my attention, the journey I'm on now is my financial awakening. So I'm focusing on generating vast amounts of income. I'm doing all right for myself now. I had nothing a year ago. It's great. So back then, I was focusing on reaching enlightenment through my dick, because that was an option. I want that option. And I did. And that's what I sell now. So it's fantastic. And it all came from this one practice. So I want you all to look at your little finger. Breathing into your little finger. So there's nothing else in the world apart from your little finger. Sending your awareness and your consciousness to your little finger. Wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. Does your little finger feel more alive now than it did a second ago? If it does, say, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Now that's energy. Now I want you to close your eyes and with a very light touch your little finger. We call this an air touch. And just stroke it. And go slow. Is it more sensitive than just unconsciously doing it? If it is, say, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now bring your hand and stroke your whole arm with that same methodology. So you're bringing that level of consciousness to your whole arm. You pull back your sleeve and place your arm on your thigh and just stroke, but also breathe into it. So a very light touch. It may be more, there may be more sensation, more tingles. We like the tingles, but go slow. This is conscious touch. Now, were you able to think about the meals you got to cook for your kids, the emails you got to send, or how you're going to get home? It's impossible. Now, this is also meditation. There's ways to reach high states of consciousness, enlightenment, or no mind state. And you can do that very difficultly, not even the word, but it's harder to sit there in meditation and try and not think. It's easier through conscious touch, giving a lingam massage in a devotional space, giving a yoni massage in a devotional space, making love together where you both say, oh my God, together, and you reach higher states of consciousness. You actually release DMT when you have orgasmic states. And when you take away the goal of ejaculation and clitoral orgasms, they're all great, by the way, but you actually divert your attention to no goal, you start having different types of orgasms, and they're way more fun. And they're deeper, more profound, which allows you actually to release not just a split second of pleasure, but extended periods of pleasure. So remember the conscious touch. He has to remember it as well. You have to train him how to do that. So it's very important for him to get out of his head into sensation. Wherever the mind goes, the energy flows. Then he's got to learn the number scaling system. So the number scaling system is a dialogue. 10 is ejaculation. 0 or 1 is flaccid penis. 9 is playing with fire. No, point of no return. 8 is playing with fire. 7, 5, and 6 is where you want to be. So where in porn and Pornhub, there's things called edging. So you're edging him to open up his nervous system to feel more, so he could receive more. And that's a practice, because his animal body knows how to reach an ejaculation super quick. He will tense up and be hungry and probably grab your hand and go, just do this. Or take your pants off. Pum, pum, pum. So these are natural reactions. I've been there many times. But it means doing something that, for me, it was like I had to do something that I've never done before. There is no point for me to actually give up ejaculation. I was like, why would I ever do that? That's my favorite thing possible. But when I was told that there's something better than that, I'm a hedonist. I want to feel and experience everything. So when I heard about Kundalini rising or Kundalini activation, I was like, oh, what is this? I mean, yesterday you saw me judder a little bit. I was very surprised I was going to get my Kundalini activated. Now, when you all become tantric and multi-orgasmic, you'll start to do this thing. In a lot of religions, that happens. The Quakers, I believe, or you see it on YouTube videos where they go to church and someone does this and they do that. Maybe it happens in the world of Mormons, I'm not sure. But it does not.
Definitely not.
Happens in every single religion. And that's your Kundalini being activated through a certain method. His Kundalini can get activated through this method. So he might freak out. So this is just a little warning that he might start going like this and hyperventilating. He might. It's up to you not to freak out, because it can happen. Get him to enjoy it. He'll start, and it happens. I've seen it in my trainings, and it does happen. So I just want you to know that what you're actually doing is really, really powerful. And it is for pleasure, but it can access a huge awakening, just so you know. Like a huge spiritual awakening, like as powerful as ayahuasca. It happens. So when that happens, get him to nasal breathe. So it sounds a little bit like this. So do it together. If you're ever having a panic attack or know somebody who's ever having a panic attack, everything is through the breath. If they're hyperventilating or anything like that, get them to do nasal breathing. It sounds like you're snoring. And as we work through mimicking, I've helped a lot of people who have had overdoses and panic attacks and near-death experiences, and I just like get them back into their body quite quickly through breath. And doing that technique is a good way to bring him back down if he's freaking out. So the number scaling system is a good dialogue for you and him to see where he is. And when you get really good at this, and if you're with one partner, you can start fucking with him and playing him like an instrument. So you know exactly where he is on the scale. So you could really bring him up and then tease him and take him back down. So he's hungry for more. And then you can bring him back up again. And then you have full control over his dick, which means you have full control over his life. Now that's what we want, right? He will come back for more. He's not going anywhere. So it's a great skill to have. The game of attention and retention. And if he's feeling pleasure like never before, he's not going to forget you. So having that dialogue is a beautiful thing. The number scaling system, conscious touch, and then you create a container. So you could pull it out once in a while. Like you could go, hey, do you want to play a fun game? And everyone loves to play a fun game. Or you could, create a tantric date night and put on a special playlist and, put on berry lights or light candles, light incense. You're mainly doing it for yourself, so you could feel nice. The dude doesn't care, but it's nice. It's nice. It's a different. What's that?
Not really.
They can have an arm cut off, and you say you want to come around for sex, and they'll just come. Like, of course. But we do appreciate it. We're getting more in touch with our feminine, and we do appreciate it. So do it. But it's also, it changes things up a little bit. It's not just like a Netflix and chill type of scenario. You're creating a container. And in that container, you could ask him some questions, and you could frame it as a lingam activation ritual. Or you could say, I learned some new tricks and I would love to try it out on you. They both work. Men, women, we're bored of the same thing, and just give us something different and we'll be like, oh, that sounds fun, sure. So you could ask him, so what is your intention for this lingam activation or this Dick Ninja's play space, whatever you want to frame it. And it's 6 questions. What is your intention? What are your fears? What are your desires? What are your boundaries? If it's a new guy, sexual health. When was the last time you got tested? Have you ever had anything? Have you had unprotected sex since? And what this tantric date night or lingam activation mean to you? 6 questions to frame it in a little container. And you can have a letting go of clothes ritual. So with every item, you let go of something. So you could be the example. So with this bra, I let go of shame, and he could go, oh, okay, give this a go. With these trousers, I let go of guilt or something. And once you're both naked or he's naked, you lie him down, and then you do the conscious touch. And you could bring in different elements to touch. So you could start off with a very grounding touch, like an earth touch, to ground him into his body. And then get lots of coconut oil and apply a watery touch, a very fluid touch. And then you could bring some fire to it by doing mini spanking across his body. And that brings the blood to the surface, and you cool it down with a nice air touch. Everyone's different. Everyone has their favorite elements. And you say, what was your favorite 2? And then you just got 2 to work with, and then you got his favorite touches. Men, they have never been touched like this. I know women love this touch. Some people don't, but everyone's different. But dudes, they've literally never been touched like that. I know, like, women just hang around and they just like touch each other and like go, touch my arm again. How do I know? Because I hang around with women all day, every day. Dudes do not do that. They don't know what that touch is. I was working with a client who hates being touched, and I had to do a yoni mapping ritual with her to find out her pleasure pathways. And it turns out she only likes air touch, but in the most specific way, which is like the tips of my nails. I'm very, very slow. No one touches like that. So she'd rather not be touched by anybody if they're not going to do that. And like, no one does that. And she couldn't express it. She just thought, he should know, though. It's like, no one knows that one. So now, because I keep in contact with some of my clients, all of it, like, she has a harem of men, and they all touch her like that. So it's like amazing. So discovering his top 2 favorite touches, and then going into why we're all here. Here we go. So we start off with a lingam shiatsu. In fact, any questions before we dive deeper into the fun stuff? Okay, I think you girls are ready for the reverse unicorn as well.
This is so awesome. Like, in so many ways, I just want to tell you thank you so much, because I have never thought about, like, to be honest, like, okay, activating my sexuality, but for the man, how does he activate his? And this is so eye-opening. So thank you so much already. And yes, I'm very excited for the next
I love this. Thank you. So this is lingam shiatsu. The lingam has a that's literally it. So the lingam has chakra points, and the root is the root chakra and all the way up to the top. In reflexology terms, there's all these parts on your body, feet, ears, hands, which are connected to different organs. The head of your penis, I think I like this sign. The head of your penis is connected to your heart. And I mentioned this earlier in my other workshop. If the woman's on top and I'm laying down like this and she's on top, if she's bouncing up and down, it's going to be hitting the cervix. You know, it's pleasurable. But if you get her to grind on you, then the cervix is also connected to her heart, and the top of your lingam is connected to your heart. You're actually massaging each other's hearts, which is very nice. So with reflexology, so you do awaken. I'm going to come closer here. So you're going to awaken the shaft all the way up to the top, and it's going to be flaccid. So, and you can like use little rings all the way up the chakra system and down again. And from here, you grab the testicles, and depending which way you're facing, so let's say he's here, his legs are here. You grab the testicles, and you are able to just use your nails and your fingers. You could do that, or you could do that.
Wait, Chef, this hand is holding him? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah. So let's say his penis is here, his balls are there, and you do that. So what you want to do is, because yes, they're delicate, but also you can do stuff. So let's say his balls are here. You go around the balls. It's almost like getting your hair tight and going like this and doing this. So our testosterone is produced in our testicles. If we massage them as men, or you help your man massage them, we produce more testosterone, which makes logical sense. With women, if you massage your breasts, you release more oxytocin, and if your partner massages your breasts and you do this 10 minutes a day, you actually get massive boobs. So it's great massaging each other.
Don't touch yours, Cat.
What's that?
They're
Don't
too
touch
big.
yours.
Mine are already too big.
Keep your hands off.
Yeah, hands off.
None of that for me, thanks.
So with the testicles, you could do this. You could do this. You could do this. And you could also slowly pull them away from the body. You don't want to do it too much because it's horrific and it's painful and we're going to freak out. But there are tubes inside of our testicles and they hold a lot of tension. Like a lot of tension. Like it's painful as, for me, it's painful as fuck. But when I got my lovers, when I learned about this, for 2 years, well, maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, I got all my lovers to like play with my dick. Because they wanted to learn. And I knew a lot of stuff. But I also did it because I wanted to reach enlightenment through my dick and also not ejaculate and separate the ejaculation and the orgasm so I could just be like a woman and have lots of sex all day, every day. So I could have more love in my life. That's why I do it. So you can slowly pull the testicles away from the body. You could also get the testicles and stretch the skin. There's lots of things you could do. Testicle massage is one thing. And then rock around the clock. So
It's a great name.
it's difficult to like show whilst we'll figure it out. Okay, so his dick is here and it's facing on his belly.
He's laying on his stomach.
So it's like this.
It's
So-
on his,
so-
on his,
yeah,
okay.
so-
I'm like, that's weird. I'm like, what?
because I'm trying to do this and this. Okay, right. So your hands, my hands are you, and this is his dick. So you're gonna be that way, but I'm doing it this way.
You want me to be the guy and you show him how, like, you want to show how to do it?
I think I got this. So it's basically like this, like this, like this, like this, like this,
Oh,
like
okay.
this, like this, like this, like this. So if it
Yeah, you're moving
twisting it around, yeah, it's like bum 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 bum.
Well,
But it's
not like a twist, but we're like this.
okay. I'll demonstrate on myself. 12 o'clock position, 1 o'clock position, 2 o'clock position, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6. So you're getting his dick this way and like stroking it down.
So like you'd be on the underneath side,
Yeah.
this way, and then you're on the top side this way.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Side.
I think that would hurt, but yes.
Yeah. So that's how you do it. So let's say
Always up.
he's here, his legs are here, that's his dick, and it's facing on it's on his belly.
Okay.
And you just take your time.
So you're going up towards the tip the whole time.
It's always away.
Yeah.
And when it's at 6 o'clock position, you could like place it underneath and you could do this. And once you've done that, I just do it one time. Then you could do tapping. And wobbly dick. So if it, well done, got a natural over here. This one's a little bit rusty. Good, I like that one. Well done. Oh, this is an interesting one. You do that way around. You can try both ways. So maybe I've never had it that way, but this is the way. Now, now when it comes to the tapping, I'm on the advanced level of this. This or this gives me multiple orgasms now. So when I get myself to a 7, I play with fire. So an 8, and I've had an orgasm. I can have an orgasm going if I just keep on tapping it and just let it go. Because if I go like this, I'm just going to jizz everywhere. So if I just go like this and I'm at a 7 and an 8, it's so sensitive and it's so heightened after a lot of pleasure. It just literally just goes through me. And it's like, and have insane orgasms. So
tapping the head or the shaft, or
the shaft. But this is like very far down the line. This is going to be nothing for him now. But when you're doing this all day, every day, like every day as a practice, this is like my penis practice that I do. This becomes like the most powerful, most outrageous sensation out of all of the sensations. So tapping or wobbly dick. And then you could go into the fire starter. So you could also bring in your elbows on your forearms. Remember, his dick isn't going to be floating in air.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not moving.
It's not moving. Here you go. Easier. So there you go. There you go. Now, you can never have too much coconut oil. Just have a lot of coconut oil. It's especially if it hasn't got a foreskin. And lube yourself up, lube it up, and you'll use this. And you could go. It's a different sensation. And you could really go for it. And you could also do the clamshell. Hold this. So it's like this. That's a really nice sensation. And you could also, go all the way like this. Jelking is a technique for all the men that want bigger penises, and every man wants a massive penis. So jelking.
Yeah, close your ears.
Big tits and big dicks in her house.
So if you don't want him to have a bigger dick, you could just move on to the next. So jelking, you get 2 fingers and you go like this. So what this does is, now I did this as a personal practice and my dick did get bigger. So what it's doing is popping all the blood vessels in here, opening it up. So when it gets filled up more.
So are we doing that pretty hard or soft?
We're doing it pretty hard. Yeah. But like not, you're talking to him, making sure it's comfortable. So it's like so you can do it whilst they sleep. So that is jelking. Now there's a few things you could do. There's like a whole other bunch of healing methods that I'm just going to run through because I know you want the techniques more than anything else. So you can get a mirror and say, name 5 things that you appreciate about your lingam. So he says 5 things. If your lingam could talk to you right now, what would he say? If he lived from his power, how would his life transform? And what do you want to know about love? And you're getting his dick to speak rather than his brain. And also asking his lingam, what do you want me to know about pleasure? Interesting. So our bodies are always speaking to us. Like you have your gut instinct, you have your heart. If it's hurt, it physically hurts. And when you speak to that person, you get it off your chest, you feel lighter. Same principles apply to your vaginas and dicks, but no one knows that's an option. It's an option.
Could you say those questions again? I'm writing them down.
If your lingam could talk to you right now, what would he say? If I lived from your power, how would my life transform? That's a good one. What do you want me to know about love? And what do you want me to know about pleasure? You could do this with your vaginas as well. I got the last 3 recently, like last week, so it's like new to me. And also naming your lingam, getting him to close his eyes, connect to his lingam, and you could say, I invite you to deeply connect with your lingam. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on the lingam, and connect with him and say thank you. And you could get him to say the Ho'oponopono prayer of I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, and get him to visualize strengthening that connection from his heart to his sex by giving his lingam a name and make a commitment to love him. So my lingam is called the Shiva lingam, and in Hindu cultures they have this statue of this dome and this vessel, which is the symbol of the lingam and the yoni, penis and vagina. So you could do that as a healing thing for your man, or you could go straight to the strokes. So again, using a lot of oil, and you could welcome his lingam in with the namaste. So his dick would be like facing on his belly usually, and yeah. There's a way to figure this out. I needed somewhere. Yeah, be there. You easy. Okay, we're gonna have it there. Now we have the rainbow rub. Oh, very good technique. Very nice. And then the extreme rainbow rub. So you're pulling the root and the shaft. And then from there, you have the lemon squeeze.
It's pretty light touch.
Yeah, it's around the head of the penis. And then you could do it with one finger, like on the head. I think I got this now. Yeah. The head and the finger. So the rainbow rub, the extreme rainbow rub, the lemon squeeze, the one finger lemon squeeze, the champagne bottle. It's like you pop in a champagne bottle. And it's like a constant. And then you turn your hands the other way around and you have the infinity rub. And you put your hands underneath. So we have a clitoris. Our clitoris is the frenulum, and that's where the head connects to the shaft, and it's that line underneath that you see. So you're massaging with 2 fingers up to the frenulum, and you could play with a frenulum.
So this is the underside.
Underside, yeah. So his dick's facing that way. You see it there. And you could do like a continuous rub. You want to communicate with him. So it's all different. And a lot of oil.
He's gonna know how to be raw.
And you want to bring in you're trying to sublimate his energy. So his energy is always trapped around it, and that's why he's really horny all the time. So the key is to open up his heart through his sexual energy. So going from his perineum, his root chakra, and bringing all that energy up to the heart. So you'd be facing
through the balls. And
up through the balls, yeah. So it'd be like. So making sure you don't crush the balls. So going to from the perineum, I can never say that word.
Perineum.
And then up through his cock and up to the heart. So it's like this technique. And if you see him raising up his energy too much, just like you always bring in the energy up to the heart. raising it up somatically as well. I learned this new move the other day. It is a Beulah's jellyfish. How did she do it with me? It's like, yeah.
Oh, inside her hand.
Yeah, it goes inside the hand. Okay, you're gonna have to hold it. So she holds it here and she goes in like this. It's like this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And you go like slow, firm. But yeah. She has one hand like this on the shaft and the other one going into it. Now the bonus round is the reverse unicorn, but we're going to go through the whole thing again.
Are these techniques the same whether a man has been circumcised or not circumcised?
Is there what?
Are the techniques the same? Are there
Same technique? Yeah. The more oil you have, the more you could do everything. They might have more sensation, less sensation. It depends on the individual. I had no sensation to having lots of sensation. So the namaste. The rainbow rub. The extreme rainbow rub. The lemon squeeze. The one finger circle around the head. The champagne bottle. The infinity rub. There's a 2-finger one. It's like jelking, but it's the other way around. Instead of pulling it down, now it's erect, so it's like the same. And I call this the Layla Martin double thumbs up the frenulum. And then all the way up from the perineum up to the heart. So you built up a sexual energy, then you're cooling it down a little bit, all the way up to the heart. Then you got the Beulah jellyfish. And you can really activate it as well. There's one that I do if you really want to like fire up the energy. You hold the root, all the blood's at the top, and you just go for it. And then the bonus round is the reverse unicorn. Now it's a very vulnerable move, but it's also the best move. And the people that's been on my trainings, they said, if men experience the reverse unicorn, there will be no war.
Be nice.
It's a bold statement, but it's true.
There'd be no what?
War.
Oh. Okay. Doc, are we doing all of these things in like one scenario, or you just like implement them at different times each time? Or...
I'll show you what it can look like, because it can be, you can just work through it or find your favorite ones or see what his favorite 2 or 3 are, and then work with that. But I do it as a choreographed, like a routine, like a choreographed sequence. So the reverse unicorn is this. So he gets on all 4s like this.
Good luck.
I'm not getting a man to say yes to that. Okay.
And then when he's like this, you're gonna get his lingam.
From underneath. you want me to-
from underneath.
Okay.
Okay, right. And then you're gonna milk him from underneath like this.
Oh, so
And-
putting it backwards.
You're pulling it backwards, and this creates a really nice sensation. So you're kind of milking him, and you could hold his heart whilst you do it. So it becomes very intimate.
So it's
So-
like the opposite of a reach around
Yeah.
because you're pulling it through.
So it feels amazing, and you could do the clam. You could pull it this way, and bring in your twist. You could also do these types of moves. But when you hold onto his heart like this, and you do it, it feels really nice. The reverse, yeah. It's a hit. But yeah, good luck on trying to get men to do that because that's it.
They don't want to get on all fours usually.
Yeah. But they're missing out.
Yeah, exactly. I see it.
Yeah. So that's the sequence. And then at the end of it, you get them to build up the energy by doing 30 breaths. And you're raising up the energy with them. So you're, okay, we're going to do 30 breaths together. And I often have this one. And then they clench and hold everything. And their intention is to sublimate the energy up out of their crown. So a bit like the finger exercise, we are bringing in imagination, but also it's through intention. You're able to make your finger feel really alive. You sublimate, visualizing this energy running up your spine, out of your crown, and opening up like a lotus flower. So it's like a letting off steam. You know it's working because the erection will go down. And you can build it up again. So getting him to sublimate the energy up out of his crown and doing that.
So it goes down and then wait, sorry, say that again.
So if he doesn't want to practice semen retention, great, just make him ejaculate. If he does want to practice semen retention, he's gonna just sublimate the energy up. You raise the energy up and out of your crown.
Okay.
So it's not just located here, because Elsie turns really horny. You just raise it out.
Okay.
There's all these other techniques, like yogic techniques, like Uddiyana bandhas, if you gets boobles, but I don't think you guys have to worry about it. I got a feeling most of you men will just want to have a really nice time and ejaculate. But he'll feel more. I had a woman in New Jersey with her husband. I stayed with them for a little bit, and like they have sex, but once in a blue moon, and he doesn't, stay hard all the time. He's in his late mid-50s. But using this technique, he was able to manage to maintain a rock hard 7 erection for 2 whole hours. She's never seen a husband like that, because it's a method rather than anything else. It's like just doing something different from what they've always done, because they've always gone for the goal, and he's got an exact amount of time that he takes until he reaches an ejaculation, and then she doesn't get the juice that she wants. So you could prolong his time using this. Now, at the end of this, we have a sharing. So there's like a sharing and a closing ritual, and just finding out about what he liked, what he like, getting some feedback and understanding like where he is on his pleasure and everything like that. And did he feel any new sensations? And you could like do a closing ritual, which is kind of like sharing gratitude and visualizing your own energy coming back to you and saying what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours, I release you. And then he does the same thing. So it's like a nice open and closed container. So that is the journey and the choreography itself. So to summarize, The easiest way to do it, just to remember stuff, is conscious touch is the foundation. He also needs to know that. Number scaling system from 0 to 10. 10 is ejaculation, 9 is point of no return, 8 is playing with fire, which is for experts. 7, 5, and 6 is where you want to maintain his erection. The longer he can maintain it, the more he'll be able to last in bed as well. Like, if he's not hungry for the goal, which he will be, but with more practice, he'll be able to sustain a really long erection for a really long time. If you've got an older man, it's good for his libido and his testosterone as well. Chakra system, reflexology, using your fingers. You could use a ring, like ringing around. Lingam shiatsu style, like penis pulling, like pulling it away from his body, getting his testicles in a bun, and doing this claw-like thing, or using the palm, or using the finger as well. Rock around the clock. Take your time, use a lot of coconut oil, tapping the lingam, wobbly dick, fire starter, so activating the lingam. Again, using a lot of coconut oil, working your way up the shaft and the head. You could use your forearms as well. The clamshell. And you could use your whole arm. And you could pull it away for, like, if it's on his belly, you pull it down and it's facing this way because it's a completely different sensation. And jelking. This is starting to activate his lingam now. It might be on a 4 or 5, starting to feel more blood. And then the strokes with the namaste, welcoming his erection into the space. There you go. The rainbow rub. The extreme rainbow rub. The lemon squeeze. One finger. A champagne bottle. And you could always be firm around the head as well, depending if they're circumcised or not. And then the infinity rub. And then the 2-finger infinity rub. And then the Layla Martin massage up the other side of the lingam and up to his frenulum. And bringing all that energy from his perineum, past the balls, up the shaft, and up to the heart. And then the jellyfish move. And if he's brave enough, the reverse unicorn. And you can milk it this way. It's kind of like you're kind of milking him. And you could hold his heart as well and do the same thing. And then the clench and hold the 30 breaths. You could hold his shaft and go 1, 2, all the way up to 30, and he holds his breath, and he's visualizing sublimating the energy out of his crown. And then you leave him there in a little cocoon. You can wrap him around in the duvet or something. And then you have a moment to share. And at the end, you have the closing ritual, which is sharing gratitude. Thank you for this beautiful experience. And visualizing your own energy coming back to you and saying, what's mine is mine, what's yours is yours. I release you. So that's it.
So
now go and practice on each other.
So can men even last through 30 breaths? That seems pretty intense.
Yeah.
So you have to read his body language. So if he can't, then you slow it down. You bring in another stroke or something, or tap, and see how to not take him to a 10.
Because the goal is not to come.
You want to try and extend his pleasure.
Do we get to follow this up with fucking?
I know, that's what I'm like. So when does my pleasure come in?
Uh-huh.
You wanted to learn dick ninja skills. Where were you the other night when we were talking about?
So yeah, but I mean, if they wanted to have sex after, then you
Oh
could.
yeah.
So it
But sex is a whole different ball game after that, because he's gonna be like he might last longer. But there's a way to make him not come as well. Like there's a tantric meditation that you could do, bonus round. So there's a flow of energy, and we all know this flow of energy. The flow of energy is a man has an erection, a woman has a vagina. She's hungry for his semen, and she'll suck it in, and then you'll have a baby. That's the flow of energy. It goes this way around. His is going out, hers is sucking in, and create life that way. When you're tantric and you want to practice semen retention, and you want to turn sex into a form of meditation, you reverse the flow of energy. Now, I've had sex with tantric women and matrix women, and I could know immediately if they're sucking my energy in, because it feels like I want to come. And when I say, hey, can you reverse the flow of energy? She doesn't know what that means, because she has never done Tantra. She works in an office. So I just say, hey, just like I start tapping on her heart, bring your awareness here and just bring this energy down. And I'm somatically doing it. And I can immediately feel the energy shift. Like I'm dating corporate women, but they've done something like yoga or like horse riding, or they do some kind of dance. They do embodiment practices. So I know how to get them out of their head into their body. So they know stuff, but without knowing stuff. And the way to do this flow of energy is the actual meditation that I do. And the fact that you're going to be doing this is weird enough, so you might as well do the other stuff. So you sit opposite them and you hold their hands and you get them to visualize. You're the woman. Oh yeah. So in the world of Tantra, it's actually the women that initiate the men. It's the women. The gurus were women, basically, not men. And the way I advanced in my tantric spiritual personal development path was women. Women taught me about my dick, and I don't even have a dick, but they've seen more dicks than men, because men are mainly homophobic and don't want to see other people's dicks. But these women, they've seen loads of dicks because they're activating penises. It's like me, I see more vaginas than most humans will ever see. So I'm good at telling people what to do about vaginas. But I needed someone to tell me about my dick, and it was a woman. So women are the main gurus in the world of Tantra. They're known as dakinis and priestesses, and they start off with their heart, and women have their energy is in the heart. And they bring down their energy by holding the dude's hands, and they bring it down out of the yoni into his lingam. It's up to him to sublimate that energy up. So his energy, he's got this thing that pokes out. His energy is in his dick. So here's a bit of tantric facts for you. When you meet a man, he wants to touch your vagina straight away because he likes his penis being touched straight away. We do to people what we like done to ourselves. But all men do that. Because we think you love it, because we love it, which means you must love it. But it turns out, oh, it's a no. Okay, right. So if we started on your heart, for example, and massage your breasts. I mean, men massage boobs like this. I'm that. So you want to teach them how you like your body to be massaged. So your body starts to open up. You start to relax your nervous system and you start to get comfortable with the man. So you bring down your energy out of your yoni. You're holding his hands. He takes it from his lingam, sublimates it up out of his crown and into your crown. And you do this cycle of energy holding hands. So it's like this. Ooh. So you're the one, man. Okay. And to make it more intimate with your partner, you do eye gazing and you do left eye to left eye gaze. So if you don't know where to focus, you point at your left eye and you look into each other's left eyes. And you're going to be breathing out and he's going to be breathing up and you're breathing up. And you do that for 5 minutes. And then you transition to a thing called Yabbyum position.
Josh, sorry, are you actually touching each other's torso?
It's sexier when you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so it would be like full, like
I like
full touch like that.
Yeah, I like it because it feels nice, but in schools they just don't do that.
Okay.
I do it because it's more intimate. And from there, you go into Yabbyum position. Now, the Yabbyum position is how tantric people make love. We call it the Shiva Shakti position. The only time I ever saw this, which blew my mind, was in the film The Beach by Leonardo DiCaprio. When he has sex with that woman, they're in this position. Your men aren't gonna be flexible in their hips at all. So they definitely need a pillow to sit on top, and they probably don't know how to sit cross-legged, so they will need to learn how to have their hips above their knees. So they'll need 2 pillows, and their comfort's the main thing, because if they're not comfortable, you're going to feel it, and they're going to be shaky, and it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable for everybody. And you wrap your legs around. Well done. And he places one hand on the back of the heart, one hand on the base of the spine. And then you do the whole thing again through imagination. And then you allow the sexual energy to move. So you'll be in an intimate relationship. So you can start feeling each other's genitals with your genitals.
So essentially you're naked.
But you're not actually connected yet? Is it in or it's not in yet?
We don't know yet.
Oh.
Because
but it could be.
it could be. It could be. But the first exercise is 5 minutes like this, and then 5 minutes like this.
Okay.
And then it could be it.
Gotcha.
Okay, gotcha.
And then you move around like however you want.
Okay.
So yeah, there's like all these different moves you could do. But that's another workshop.
Right.
So making love tantrically is very different to actual sex. It's like there's a physicality of it and the imagination of it. And there is no wrong way or right way. It's just a bit different. And there's no wrong or right way to breathe. You just figure it out. I've seen too many couples shout at each other and say, "You're not breathing right."
Oh,
He said to do it like this. Oh God, forget about it. And all the frustration from the relationship comes straight out. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be pleasurable, and you may cry, which is great.
I have a question about being circumcised or not.
Mm-hmm.
is it more sensitive if they are not?
Mhm.
Everyone's different. I can only say from my own experience, and it was not sensitive, but now it's sensitive, because I spent a fortune on my dick to activate it.
One of my brothers, I have 3 brothers, one was not circumcised, and I felt like he was always traumatized because he was not.
In our culture,
He felt left out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, they get teased.
They get
They get teased.
teased for not being circumcised.
Because it looks funny.
Right?
Oh,
Yeah. So
wow.
what's different to you, you think is bad when you're
Yeah.
little. Yeah, kids are mean.
Mhm.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
What I love humans. We're all different cultures, different things. I've learned loads of going down on people techniques. That's my thing. I do a great workshop on that.
Oh my God.
So here's the thing. These are just tools for you to play with, for you to experiment with, to get confident with understanding a husband's body. I do this with women. It looks cool, but it's very healing. It depends the intention behind it. If he has erectile dysfunction, premature ejaculation, and you bring these tools in, you'll change his life. If it's a bit of fun, it's a bit of fun. If he's been sexually traumatized and you're creating a safe space for him to not to perform, like it depends what you want to do with it.
Everyone's journey is different.
Right.
Yeah, you'll figure it out in your own dynamics. I started off as a tantric gigolo, so I was like providing pleasure for rich, successful women. And then I learned about healing. Then I just got stuck in the world of healing, which is great, and it's been an amazing 8-year career. But now I'm like seeing how far I could push it. Now I turn it into entertainment. And I'm a tantric rock star and erotic artist. So I have like 2 women, 3 women, a live orchestra giving yoni massages.
Live orchestra.
This is all true. I'm very busy in Europe. It's very different.
Symphony.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, I even have I do big shows where everyone's just crying and having orgasms at the same time. And this is me flicking my hair back whilst massaging energy orgasms for 7 women. So I got a couple of women lying down. I got 3 women there. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 women, and I'm just playing them all like an instrument. But I also do get them naked, and I use all things. So it all depends what you want to do with this stuff. It's all, I say, scalable.
Well, I like what you said about intention, right? Because if you just have like a checklist and you're just like, okay, we're gonna try this.
Mechanically.
Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, we're gonna try that. Like,
But we all start off.
And just say, hey, you know what? I want to do something for you. I want to give you some pleasure with nothing in return or no expectations. Just tell me what you like. Do you like this? Or do you like that? And if you just come about it with an energy of service instead of,
But you do need to know what you're doing as well. You're not gonna be able to jump straight in and become a dick ninja straight away. It's like I started off with that checklist. So I was like, okay, I got some tricks. I'm trying to not ejaculate. Do you want to play this fun game? And they were like, of course. So then they would just I would literally have my phone. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna try this one. It's the namaste. Okay, that feels good. And then we'll communicate and she'll do a certain technique. I'm like, that's my favorite way of you doing that. And then we'll have one in the bag. Then we work through the thing. And I always have a 2-hour window for my my intimacy time with women. So I always have 2 hours like blocked out on my very busy schedule. So luckily everything's automated. So I have 2 hours with one woman, 2 hours with another woman, and 2 hours with another woman. So I have that time frame to practice. And my job is this. So I want to get really good at it. So I would practice. It is a chore if it's a chore. It's playful and pleasurable and giving. Like I give so many yoni massages. I'm not bored. Like every human is completely different. So, and I do different techniques, and sometimes I learn new techniques because they're open enough for it. So yeah, it's all it's completely unique on the intention of the container. Like I do a lot of skill swaps with women who are in the same field as me. So we have to touch people's genitals every day, and we need someone to practice on. And I was living with somebody in Austin, and she's like a sex therapist, and she had all these different the Bueller squib. Like I was like, "What is this? What are you doing? This is great." So yeah, it's like really nice to like play with people. And if you have a long-term partner, you'll discover something new rather than doing the same thing over and over again. It's just something new. Then you get really good at it and really confident with it.
So I just feel really inspired with like what you were talking about, the heart connection and just being present, because I'm always focused on like, oh, maybe my gut's hanging out, oh, maybe my jaw, double chin, and all these things, like self-conscious and like dumb. So just being present and focusing on engaging and feeling and then connecting hearts, and I really love that. That really spoke to me.
Amazing. It turns into a dance. So when
that
we're
speaks to me.
when we're done,
a professional dancer.
I know. That's why I brought a reference in.
Yes.
So when you're able to dance with the lingam, like what I love about this work is sex and dance and foreplay is all the same stuff. I made love to an American for the first time. In America. I healed my American trauma by doing this. In my like the Tantra world, it's like you make love to your trauma and your trauma vanishes. So I just thought Americans didn't like me, I didn't understand me because I'm sarcastic, I'm British, and all these things. But it's just my perception of how they perceive me. So when I made love to her, like we had 45 minutes each, and we did a sex magic ritual. Now she's a professional acro yogi, acro massage, and contact dancer, and I just do tantra and I do dance. I used to be a professional break dancer, but that's like 20 years ago. and our bodies connect really well on the dance floor. That's how we know each other. It's been like a beautiful 1 year of like dance. But when it came to love making, like she wanted it in a very traditional American way. And I was like, okay, I mean, I sure, whatever you want. And I'm a man, I'll do whatever a woman asks me to do. And then I did 45 minutes her way, because she doesn't know what she doesn't know.
Right.
Me and my mate Steve from Austin, we call it the good old fashioned American railing. It kills me inside, it really does. So then when it came to my 45 minutes, I said, okay, we're going to play a game, and I have to frame it in a way called sex static dance. I'm going to get coconut oil, and I'm going to put a condom on, and we may have sex, we may not have sex. It's not the goal. So I might go inside you, I might not go inside of you. Now we've already done 45 minutes of the Great American Rail, so there's another 45 minutes. And I asked her on the pleasure scale, where were you in that? She's like, I was on a 7, 8. Classic railing. And but this was a new way of moving. So I begin by standing behind her. We put on the music, and we get coconut oil, and we start massaging each other standing up whilst using our whole body. And sometimes my penis goes in, sometimes it doesn't. But we're dancing. The main focus is the dance, not the sex. Now, everyone's main focus is the sex. Who gives a shit about dance? But I had to train myself to turn sex into dance and dance into sex, because I love dancing and I love sex, like having sex. But when you don't have a reference point on how you could move with a human body. Like I love the way human bodies move, and there's waves, and women have a lot of waves. So I taught her this sex static dance. So we would not do the traditional moves. no doggy style, no woman on top, no man on top, and no reverse cowgirl. You only do that when you've had a glass of white wine. So I would get on the side of the bed and have my legs on the, like, after standing up and making love and moving, I would sit on the side of the bed and she would be here. I got full control of her body, and I could like move her around and stuff, and like, you know, take one leg, come back up, and like move. So there's all these things I could do with her, and then I would do different types of moves where I just get her hips and just grind her really hard on my pubic. I'm a lesbian, so I know how women work. I could grind her on my pubic bone whilst I'm inside of her, so she has a deeper presence of my lingam inside of her. And by not doing the Great American Rail, she was able to get to 8 and 9, which was really nice without having to pound her, but do something very soft and gentle. So it's just very different. So dance, sex, lingam massage, yoni massage, it can be like, if you look into Thai yoga massage, there's loads of cool ways to massage the human body. And I love looking at different methods, but also having that 2-hour window just to explore and play. Put on a nice playlist, which is in the handout, and get a lot of coconut oil and create a container. And it can be 45 minutes, you give, he receives, and then you switch. Then he gives and you receive. And then at the end, you just have a free-for-all and you just go for it. There's all these different ways to frame these experiences. So if you'd like to know more things, I have all these online courses on tantrawithshaft.com. There's like the yoni mapping blueprint on how you and him could just watch the video and he'll figure out, like, you know, so what's in it for me? That video is in it for you. You'll find out your G spot, your A spot, how you like your breast touch and what type of touches you like, but he'll learn about you and you'll learn about yourself. And together you could actually have more pleasure. So that is available on there. And I also do couple coaching, online coaching, and many other things. And I live mainly on Instagram at Shaft Uddin. If you want to see how outrageous my life is, all my vlogs for the last 10 years is on my YouTube. Shaft Uddin. And the deeper content is on OnlyFans, the Shaft Show.
Are you having sex on there?
You'll have to find out and pay the $25 subscription just to have a little sneak peek of what goes on in there.
I think we can even access OnlyFans in Utah.
Oh,
Yeah, you can. I've been checking my bank account on that.
Oh,
I got a new subscriber. I could buy a burrito. When I lost all my money last year, intentionally, OnlyFans was my only source of income. And now, ironically, it actually makes more money than my property in London. Yeah. Which isn't a lot, by the way. Thank you so much. This was
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you. Ready to embark on your own transformational journey? The tools used on the Shaft Show are now within your reach. Welcome to the Netflix of Tantra. Here you can access the courses that inspired incredible changes in our contestants. Explore courses like Yoni Mapping, the 1-month semen retention course for male entrepreneurs, and the foundational courses like Boundaries and Consent and Conscious Touch, and so much more. All designed to elevate your personal development journey to a whole new level. Want to dive deeper? Then it's time to invest in the Shaft Method, this revolutionary new technology for personal development. Take charge of your life and start singing, I love my life, I love my body, I love myself. The Shaft Method is your path to transformation. Join us on this incredible adventure. The Shaft Show was just the beginning.